Hey, you chickadees, I'm Lay Rooster, and you're in the hen house. It is Arcfall Day, update 48, patch 48 of Deep Space Nine, part 3. All right, and as you can see by the pictures over here, I think, we've got some officers and we've got that Defiant ship. It seems like I've been answering questions about people wanting the Defiant I've been asking questions about that since a year and a half ago or something like that. So it looks like the Defiant is here. We're going to dig in and talk about some of that and give you some quick overview. We're going to dig in deeper with some other stuff. Remember to like and subscribe and leave some comments down below. It all really helps, and we're getting close to that Pike cosplay on Twitch. So anyway, let's look here for November 8th. Obviously, we got Alpha Quadrant and Turmoil, they're saying. So we got the big deal is, of course, the brand new ship, the Defiant. I think that and we're also getting our Strike Team Explorer Officer team. So we'll have the full meta set, or you will if you've spent for them, because they're not that easy to get, although these are a little easier than the last group, the Cardassians. Nobody can keep up with them. All right, so new officers, 30 new missions. There are a lot of missions and much more, as it says. Now, as you can note, honestly, they put a lot of effort into, there's a lot of wording going on with the missions. There's a lot of different sections. Some of these missions are related to giving us a few free shards for the Defiant. And I will say, the Defiant on day one already, if you've already looked in your Bajoran faction store and you're level 35 or above, is already able to start chipping away at earning the shards for that in the blueprints. So that's good. It looks like it'll take a little while. Obviously, the only people that should have it right now are the people who are willing to buy it right out and participate in those events for building it right now. That's pretty standard, but at least we're not wondering how long it's going to take before we know how we're going to get it. So that's a good sign. All right, so lots of missions, including things like the Defiant side missions and things like that. And then the Bajor planetary missions that are coming up, right? And some holodeck archives, including Next Generation Part 4 coming out, right? And a Boimler Mariner one. So there's a little, mishmashery of stuff coming out, but lots of missions in there. So we'll see over time. We'll be able to compare and find out what's useful. But let's get down to the meat of it. It's the Defiant. Like I said, people have been asking about this one forever, since before TNG, honestly. So at least in my streams, come check us out. Link below to Twitch. Appreciate seeing you over there. All right, so the Defiant's a new combat-focused ship. Initial focus is to progress faster in the fight against the Dominion. So it's like, what? Is it a Stella? Well, no, it's got more uses. We are going to have to look in deeper dives on videos and on live streams about all the uses of this ship as we get it. I need to determine how I'm going to decide to get it, how quickly I'm going to get it, and kind of go from there. And I'm sure people have it. Let us know below what you're using it for. So it does unlock the additional Bajoran badge and credit bundle that scales up as it tiers up. I've already opened this once today. If you don't have the Defiant, it's a pretty small amount of credits and Bajoran badges, but it's more than you had a minute ago. And then it goes up. Notice it says the contents of that chest scales up as it tiers up, it referring to the Defiant. So you need to build the Defiant and tier up the Defiant to make this chest in the Bajoran faction increase. Okay. Also, earn an increased amount of edict tokens by using the Defiant as part of your solo armada. So this is envisioned to be something to help with your solo armadas. Now, I talked in just my video yesterday about the Bajoran factions about how you currently need 3 good ships and 3 good armada crews to do solo armadas and do them right. And especially if you want to punch up at all and things like that, the Defiant will give you an option. If you're sitting with 2 good ships or not sure how you're going to put together that, the Defiant is there to help you with that. So yeah, you're going to have to spend stuff on it and resources, but it is an option here, and there's going to be some bonuses to that. So that's going to affect how we look at the Bajoran store. I'm sure we'll be talking about that more. It says, with each tier of the ship, you claim the next level of solo armada buffs in the Bajoran store. The buff increases your Defiant strength while taking part in solo armadas. Now, we've been talking about solo armadas, but it also helps with other group armadas, as they're calling them, which is all the other armadas. So the ship is going to have some armada use in general. So they're talking about how it's going to have a support-focused active ability. It's got passive and active abilities, so pretty interesting. You're going to use ablative amplifiers. This is code for another currency, people. So there you go. Because we didn't have enough, and they heard you. Thanks, Scopely. Ablative amplifiers to activate the special ability of the ablative armor that boosts your allies' strength in group and solo armadas. Group and solo, so it's going to help both places. Increases your strength with independent research. Like the Cerritos has, there's research that you can do that's going to make it better for when you are buffed by this Defiant. So we're starting to get used to this. We really are bringing all that together with solo armadas needing the Cerritos. You can have your Cerritos and your Defiant involved. All right, the Defiant can support multiple active abilities. It's saying there's a passive ability. There's going to be multiple things that you can turn on, and things are good. So let's get our Defiants out there. They do have a web page. It's horrifically not available in the dark scheme, so it's kind of blinding. But yeah, you can check some of that out, and we'll see that in the videos. Now we got our new officers. Let's go down here. Wei Yun. All right, he's our elite. Okay. Shout out on him. Okay, we're going to be able to get some of him through. We have 3 solo leaderboards to chip away if you want to using material spend. So that's going to help chip away. He's still not going to be really fully unlockable like that. You're gonna need to chip away and do some purchasing, but he's more available than Gold Ducat was before. Okay, with no spend events. Okay, so there's some hedging that may be available with him. Okay, now his captain maneuver, Eloquence Master. When on an explorer, on combat start against player ships, so PvP, Wei Yun has X% chance of generating morale for 8 whole rounds. That's more than these fingers. That's 8. All right, 8 rounds. All right, it'll boost up. That's a lot of morale. So he's the morale guru. Now his officer ability is when on an explorer fighting against another player and with the morale, which should be pretty prevalent as up above, Wei Yun's weapon shot count is increased by X%. So he's going to be boosting, and look, first it starts with 76% increased weapon shot. All right. That's a lot. Okay, so that's a lot of shots, which is doing different than a lot of morale has done. Shout out to Rev and some of the other videos talking about morale, where it has mainly defensive types of. And this one is boosting that's boosting your damage right there. So then we've got Ikatika. All right, he's rare. His captain maneuvers Honored Elder. When on an explorer fighting against another player at the start of each round, he increases all mitigation stats by an X% for 1 round. You're not using him unless you have to, but you are using him for his officer ability. That's how these meta guys work. So their officer ability is created to win. When on an explorer fighting against a player and under morale, each round increases Ikatika's weapon damage by X% for 3 rounds. So the damage is increased for 3 rounds, starting at 53%. Remember, also, if you do have the epic Wei Yun, you're going to have a whole bunch of shots. That's a lot of chances there for more damage. Okay. Then we have Pan, or as I like to call him, Princess Leia, right, from Return of the Jedi. But yeah, he's a Marine, and he looks like Princess Leia. I know, you're going to hate me, but this is what I'm thinking. All right, captain maneuver translation issues. When on an explorer defending against another player, on combat start, Han has X% chance to delay opponent's weapons for 3 rounds. So he has a 3-round delay, which that might be somewhat useful if you don't have the epic, especially if we're increasing damage, right? And then officer ability Breen are served cold when on an explorer fighting against another player and under morale in the meta group. On round start, Pawn decreases opponent's critical chance by X% for 3 rounds, starting at 52%. So they do less critical chance. You're doing more damage, and you're firing a whole barrage of shots if you have the whole team. This sounds kind of impressive. We'll have to see how it plays out. The strike team Una and that group does seem still pretty damp. But we'll have to see and check that out. All right, so then we're going to have some more research that's coming out. They have the Prime Swarm Refinery. Okay, increasing the amount of partial titanium and dilithium received in the Swarm Refinery by 500%. That's a lot. So this is particularly helpful on the biotic side. Okay, so that's really going to fund some stuff. At least all those PvP repairs, if not other things. There's a prime to increase the faction rep earned from events. Your faction rep and tokens gain from your daily faction event by 100%. Right? We are getting more options to boost this up, and of course, there's the options to buy those packs to boost faction rep, things like that. Bajoran resistance buffs. The Bajoran increased Dominion hostile damage, increased base damage dealt against Dominion hostiles, 150 to 250. So that's against the grind that we're going to be doing for the Dominion hostiles. The Bajoran resistance increased Bajoran payouts from increasing the daily loot payouts by 30%. So you can already get a Bajoran favor that helps with this. You're going to have a research or a resistance research Bajoran buff that'll help with that. So let's start unlocking all this stuff and see what it really looks like. The Bajoran resistance increasing the Defiant solo armada damage, so obviously helping with the solo armadas, increasing kinetic damage of the Defiant in solos, or the reload chance of the Defiant versus solos. Okay, so again, just making that Defiant that much better of a ship. Even if it's your third ship, it's going to quickly be able to be up there and take the place of that third ship that you have for your solo armadas, most likely. They're going to have a bunch of frames and avatars as usual. There's always one that I like. And we are going to have a Thanksgiving event during this arc, which I look forward to those types of things. We just did Halloween, and we'll see. There'll be frames. There's going to be a battle pass. Where would we be without a battle pass, right? Let's see. The battle pass is going to include. We are going to get a free-to-play unlock of Pawn. The As I'm Aligned, this one, I believe, is available for free. The free-to-play path, you'll get this one unlocked. So that's pretty cool. You're going to have to pay for some of the other stuff, or pay and grind and compete. But they have fixed various bugs. I know there's some new bugs caused on it. So they're communicating that they're on it already, like the discovery bugs and things like that. But those are good. Again, they need to continue fixing bugs and fix even more. Fix those Actian Apex things for the Mantis, please. ASAP. All right, they made some improvements. They reduced the warp requirements from Dominion space. They'll make it a little easier as well. And some different pieces like that. So making it a little clearer about your use of broken desealing rods, so that's less confusing. I know that there's a new thing for the elite reward pack, what I call the allowance pack, that comes up, and it makes it very clear that you've got to collect that. So different things like that. So really, it's about the meta completing the let's call it what it probably is, the first pass at a set of 3 ship type officer PvP metas, as there will later probably be some more that mix it up or challenge the status quo, and the Defiant tying in to the Bajoran store. Nice updates. I'm curious about what you think. Please let me know down below, along with your liking and subscribing. One thing I do want to point out, one, I'm somewhat excited about messing around and checking out how this Defiant's going to work, and hopefully if I'm going to like it and everything. Also, notice no Starbase stuff this time. We had Starbase stuff, but it was very meh yesterday, last patch, right? It was just a little bit of expansion, right? So I'm wondering, let's see, are we going to see Starbases come to fruition with the last December arc for Deep Space Nine, where it ties everything further together and gives us more reason to be kind of happy about that. So again, let me know your speculation, your thoughts down below, and come check me out on live streams. Going to be planning some. I'll take care, and cock-a-doodle-doo.